This is the program that shows you the side of police chase videos they didn't want you to see. Bungled arrests, kamikaze crooks, and cop-based carnage of all kinds. Welcome to Cops Uncut, the real car crash TV.
On my way. Car's on fire.
Coming up on Cops Uncut, a couple of South Central gang members take the LAPD for a spin. A barreling lorry shakes up a routine traffic stop. And we learn how to maximize your impact on neighborhood crime.
260 at the corner. On my way.
Sometimes American police have a very long-winded way of stating the obvious.
Also, by state law, you are required to wear a seatbelt as a front seat passenger or the driver. I am going to issue a citation for failure to wear a seatbelt. I'll give you a defect notice for the front license plate. Stay in the car, don't get out. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Loosely translated, this policewoman is telling her suspect to clunk-click every trip. And she's right, because you never know where danger might come from next.
I'm not injured. Stand by, I'll find out about the driver.
Both the lady cop and the guy in the car are mercifully okay.
70% involved in the fire.
But even though the victim was parked when the crash happened, the incident demonstrates precisely why it's so important to wear that seatbelt. Because if the stupid driver had belted up in the first place, then the nitpicking policewoman wouldn't have pulled him over, and this accident would never have happened.
17870.
The lady in this car has been driving without proper license plates, and the cop needs to find out why.
You have license, registration, insurance?
The incident starts off like a routine police stop. But there's a dangerous jailbird on the loose somewhere on this snowy Ohio farmland. He could strike at any time.
Careful of the turkey if it attacks you, I'm sorry.
Paralyzed either by fear or hysterical laughter, the officer is powerless to defend himself against any heavy pecking the creature might unleash.
I don't know. You need to make sure that you have the plates on the side of the car, okay? I'll be right back.
With his new bird in tow, the cop returns to the safety of his cruiser, where his partner's waiting for him.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That bird came out of nowhere.
Held hostage in their own squad car, the cops are completely at the mercy of their aggressor.
It's chasing me. I can't get out of the car without it following me.
In desperation, they attempt to reason with the creature in a language it can understand. But the turkey hasn't got to be anywhere until next Thanksgiving. And since it's only February, these scaredy cops could be waiting around for quite some time. If there's one thing we can learn from police chase videos, it's that American streets are stiff with drunk drivers. In Alabama, this guy has just been pulled over for weaving in and out of lanes. But it's okay, because Cops Uncut favorite Deputy Phil Humphreys is on the scene.
Please don't let come out, man. Please. What would I lock you up for? Drinking. Oh, you been drinking tonight?
Deputy Phil starts to initiate the standard sobriety test for driving under the influence, or DUI.
Don't fall backwards, okay? Yeah. You know your ABCs? I know part of them. I can't read, right?
But Phil wants to dispense with the formalities and cut straight to the breathalyzer.
Step on back here to my car for me, okay?
If you've seen Cops Uncut before, you might already be familiar with Deputy Humphrey's distinctive arrest style. Whenever Hump gets a suspect in the back of his cruiser, he turns his dashboard cam right round so that everyone can enjoy the drama.
You notice that you're weaving over into my lane there, Mr. McCloud?
With his fetching mullet and emaciated features, this drunken hayseed is the perfect video star for Humphrey's confession cam.
You been arrested for DUI before? How many times? One.
Having established a prior record, Humphreys gets the man to blow into the breath test tube. Predictably, he doesn't do very well.
I think you're unsafe to operate a motor vehicle. You're under arrest.
Now handcuffed, our unhappy bunny makes a desperate plea to Humphreys to turn a blind eye.
Will you please give me a break? I'm not going to let you go on driving under the influence, Mr. McCloud. No, sir. Please. Do you understand your rights? No, sir. What don't you understand? I just got my license back, man. Okay, that don't have anything to do with what I just asked you. Please give me a break.
But this man can barely speak, let alone drive a car. Left to his own devices for a moment, the scrawny suspect reflects on his situation and leaves Humphreys a little something to remember him by. When the deputy returns, the hopeless hick makes one last pathetic plea for mercy.
Please give me a break, please.
But he doesn't get a break. Instead, he gets 45 days in prison and his license taken away again.
I was going home.
Still to come, spot the obvious mistake in this truck thief's getaway plan. Find out what happens when Gobble strikes back. Police Academy Lesson 33, Reasonable Force. As many cops will tell you, there's an extremely fine line between reasonable force and police brutality. When you're in a pursuit situation, for example, it's perfectly acceptable to stop your suspected criminals from escaping by ramming your cruiser into the side of their vehicle with a potentially deadly smash. But once your suspect has been cuffed and captured, the time for rough justice is over. Which means it's not very good to push your prisoner to the ground with your fist, as it could well mean the end of your career. As we said, it's a very fine line, so here's a little poem to help you remember. Put your foot on the pedal and you'll get a medal. Punch a suspect with your fist and you're bound to get dismissed. End of lesson.
Taking off again.
It's late and the Texas traffic cops have spotted a camper van doing a little off-roading. The cop follows the camper into an empty car park, but soon finds himself trapped in a labyrinth of curbs. When he eventually finds the exit, the officer rejoins his colleagues in the pursuit. But it looks like the chase is already over. Seen here from another squad car approaching from the rear, it looks like there's something seriously wrong with the hippie wagon's smoking engine. Either that or its occupants have been hitting the peace pipe a bit hard. Cops approach the vehicle from every direction, pistols drawn, fearing a drug-crazed outburst at any minute. Instead, they find that the van is crammed full of kids out for a joyride. But the cops aren't ageist. They treat the teenagers like any other hippie scum, and the fact that they're just kids apparently doesn't discourage them from putting the boot in. When the going gets tough, the tough get smoking, and as far as these cops are concerned, the kids aren't all right.
260 at the corner.
On my way.
The owner of this red Chevy pickup got a rather nasty shock when he turned on the news and saw this footage of his beloved motor in a police chase live on TV. He hadn't even realized his truck had been stolen until he saw these helicopter images of the car thieves putting his vehicle through hell. With the front tires shot to pieces, the guy watches as the robbers ruin his truck by riding on the rims. The thieves clearly have little respect for other people's property. And with moves like this, it's a miracle the pickup hasn't rolled or crashed. Especially when the thief keeps pulling hazardous tricks like hooning up the shoulder and overtaking traffic with inches to spare. But none of these things can quite compare to the horror of watching as a complete stranger totals your motor on live TV. Particularly when you're sitting at home, powerless to stop the orgy of destruction. At least Mr. Owner can take some satisfaction from seeing the moment when the crooks get caught. But not even that can make up for the fact that his favourite ride has been well and truly trucked. The Arizona carjacker in this SUV has been working overtime. It's still only morning and he's already on his 6th carjacking of the day. The cops are on his case, but he just keeps slipping through their fingers.
What can they do? Oh, can you ram him? You know, what do you do? He's got a weapon. That's a bad situation when he's got a weapon.
Maybe he's trying to break the carjacking world record.
Oh, he just ran this. Look at him. He's running this guy. Oh, look at this.
Because now he makes an attempt on his 7th vehicle.
He's going to hijack this car right now.
Apparently 7 is the pursuing officer's lucky number.
Okay, he has nowhere to go. Here he goes.
Because when the man is cornered just outside Toys R Us...
Okay, he's got his hands up. He's got his hands up.
It seems he just doesn't want to play anymore.
There, he's laying down. He's listening to the police officers.
And his large-scale game of Grand Theft Auto is finally brought to an end. An uninvited guest is just about to wreak havoc at the scene of this Ohio police stop. Yep, Big Bird is back. And this time, he's not taking any prisoners. The last time the cops came across this turkey, it made them look like complete fools. So this time, the officer at the scene is determined that no overgrown sparrow is going to make a fool out of him. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the officer orders the civilian to retreat to safety, while he calls up the local animal welfare office to help him out.
What can I do about this turkey? I can't even get out of the car. He keeps, every time you get out, he just comes running towards you. If I could get a net or something, I could probably trap him pretty easily.
But the wildlife officer has a better idea. Sit tight and wait for the experts to come and handle it.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
While he waits for the professionals, the cop decides to pass the time having a little fun with the turkey.
What you doing, buddy? Ah! Well, he's now on my hood. Got that video running? Yes, I do.
Trapped alone in his squad car for several hours, it looks like the officer's suffering from cabin fever.
Come on, you chicken shit!
And if animal welfare don't get here soon, this troublemaking turkey might well find himself knee-deep in cranberry sauce. Still to come, Deputy Humphreys has a run-in with a fender bender, and a drug-crazed crim almost goes over the edge. A lot of seasoned cops might have seen it all before. So when something like this happens out of the blue, they're not surprised in the slightest. Seen in slow motion, the suspect's car clearly does a spectacular nose-first somersault before ending up flat on its back like a beached turtle. The officer at the scene might be accustomed to stuff like this, but he's got a pretty sick sense of humor. Because it's fairly obvious that no one's going anywhere after a wipeout like this. In LA, a camera-equipped helicopter provides the perfect Hollywood-style angle on this nighttime police chase.
It's unbelievable. Very dangerous, driving on the wrong side of the road. This is a stolen vehicle, and they tried to pull the vehicle over, as so many of these pursuits start this way, and the vehicle just simply took off. There are 2 occupants in the vehicle. They threw some article, something out of the window on this pursuit.
The pair of hoods in this car might have dumped the evidence, but they're certainly not planning on making it easy for the cops.
Now these guys are wanted for assault with a deadly weapon. They tried to ram a police vehicle.
In fact, they seem to be enjoying the chase.
This is almost some sort of game to this guy.
Driving up tree-lined boulevards with a whole fleet of cruisers on their tail. And then turning round and heading back the other way.
We're now being told that these are possibly gang members.
Wherever the vicious gangsters go, the cops follow.
We have been down this road before, and it just appears that he's driving in just one big circle.
So they lead the cops in a few little circles too.
Definitely a pursuit like we've never seen before. That was almost Keystone Cops in a way.
Dizzy and confused, the cops briefly forget who's chasing who.
And now it almost appeared that that he was chasing the police there.
Pleased with their successful attempts at making the police look like buffoons, the gangsters go on a victory run.
And you can see the passenger now hanging out of the window there. The passenger did get out of the vehicle and made some gesture.
They are having a whale of a time, and soon locals begin gathering in the streets to watch the fun.
There's a large crowd outside that store there as he comes eastbound on Broadway.
But the audience is quick to take sides.
We've been through this neighborhood before, and somebody threw something at the vehicle, and there's what it is right there. Looks like a garbage can or something like that.
So the gangsters go for another crowd pleaser and lead the cops in one more round of Ring-a-Ring-a-Roses.
And we can hear the officer saying, "Do not follow him in circles."
But then things take a turn for the worse.
He makes a wrong turn into a dead end there.
With no road left, the fun and games are finally over.
He's running across the freeway. Oh, how dangerous.
The driver's captured, but the other suspect makes a desperate run for it. Time for the cops to wheel out the big guns. After all tonight's humiliation, these officers are probably itching to teach this gang-banger a lesson.
They're ordering him down, lay down on the ground.
But the crook has more sense than to give the cops the excuse they need. They drove the cops round in circles and drove the crowds wild. But when they drive down the wrong street, the magic roundabout finally comes to a stop.
260 at the corner.
On my way.
Wait for it, everybody. That's right, we're back in the car with our favorite deputy, Phil.
We're still in 2 lanes at this point.
We saw Humphreys in part 1 busting a guy who'd clearly been on the source. Tonight, however, it's Humph who's gonna get bumped. Fairly early on in this encounter, it's clear that the driver isn't entirely in control of his car. He doesn't even seem capable of pulling over to the side of the road.
Get off the roadway. Pull your vehicle off of the roadway. You're rolling back at me.
As yet, our Humph isn't quite sure who or what he's dealing with.
I don't know if it's a male or female, can't really tell.
So it's time for the big deputy to introduce himself.
How you doing? How you doing? Where'd you see me at? Okay. Did you see your driver's license?
But Humphreys has a nose for mischief. At which point, the driver gives Humph a clear demonstration of just how sober he isn't. But he doesn't. So Humphreys sticks him in his infamous confession booth and leaves him to have a long, hard think about what he's done. while the deputy goes to make a quick call to his insurance company.
Taking off again.
The guy in the beaten-up Buick isn't your average drunk driver. For a start, he's still knocking back the booze.
Be a bottle of vodka, which apparently he's been taking drinks of.
Today, this once reformed character has already walked out on his girlfriend, relapsed on his chemical dependency, and robbed his own father. In fact, this guy is a disaster waiting to happen.
He may have hit him just ever so slightly. He hit him.
And it's no wonder the cops want to stop him.
Southbound Western from 19th Street.
But before any of the pursuing officers can bring the chase to a halt, it comes to an abrupt end all on its own.
He slammed into the fence there.
But given the state of this guy's head, it's entirely possible that this was no accident.
He was heading towards a big cliff here where many people often take their lives. That guardrail there kept him from going over the side. He was heading right towards the cliff. There's approximately 100 to 150-foot cliff there going straight down to the rock.
By now, just about every squad car in South California is here.
Look at how many police cars are behind him.
The cops have to treat a situation like this very delicately.
They understand that he's suicidal.
But after sitting tight and waiting around for what seems like ages, they get bored. Because although the incident looked like it was going to be dramatic, this cliffhanger just doesn't want to give up. And the stakeout ends up dragging on for hours.
260 at the corner.
On my way.
So if you've been with us today on Cops Uncut, you'll have learned the following. When good turkeys go bad, try not to be a big chicken. If you're on the tail of a vicious gangster, don't let him drive you round the twist. And sometimes it's better to sit on the fence rather than drive through it. Be careful out there,